Here in the Hyundai Texans radio studio, it's head coach D'Amico Ryans. Back from the bye. Coach, how's it going?
Going great. Refreshed.
Yeah. So coming back from the bye, you get that extra Monday practice. So how important is that? What do you like to get done in that Monday practice that you don't normally get? You're coming off a game usually on a Monday.
Right. It's important for us to get our guys out and just get them moving around. You know, guys took a little break there over the past weekend, so just wanted to get them back moving. All right, get some calls in to get their minds, all right, back adjusted to communicating and being on the same page. So it was a good practice for us, just going against each other, just good on good. Not much Carolina prep today. We'll continue our normal preparation as we go throughout the week.
Coach, as you get ready for Carolina, I know you played them early last year, and they, in fact, ended up having the running back. You had to face him that ended up being the running back of the 49ers and Christian McCaffrey. Can you take anything out of that particular matchup last year preparing for them? Or are they just so different because new coach, new quarterback, all that you really can't get much out of that?
It's really a completely different matchup. With the scheme change, all right, new coaches, it's a lot of new players there, new faces. So it's a complete scheme change. So it'll be a fresh start for me.
All right, Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, there's going to be a lot of talk about this. You're going to get a lot of questions. Let us be the first. Maybe we're not the first. But what about that dynamic when you see these two quarterbacks that I know you spent a lot of time looking at prior to the draft?
Right. It'll be a cool game for both of those guys. They spent a lot of time together throughout the draft process. They actually trained together in California, so they are really close friends, and they really root for one another. So it'll be a good opportunity for both of these guys, to have a big matchup, right? Number one versus number two. Everybody will make it that matchup. Those guys are really close friends. And one thing, just in scouting those guys and watching them both really good quarterbacks. I say both had a lot of valuable experience in college. They played a lot of games, and I think that's why both guys were selected where they were selected, because of the experience they had. They went through ups and downs, both on the field and off the field in their personal lives. So both guys are just really great human beings as well off the field. Two really good dudes who you want to spend time with those guys. The more you talk to them, you want to spend more time with them because they're just such great people, and they're also great quarterbacks as well.
Coach, as you went through the bye week, how much time did you spend on Carolina versus how much you spent self-scouting? Did you look at Carolina, as you talked about today, it was good to work on ourselves and do that? Do you kind of want to stay on a game routine with Carolina, or did you spend some time with Carolina during the off week as well, or did you do more self-scouting?
Yeah, most of my time during the bye week was spent on ourselves, self-scouting to see where can we get better. Normally, you don't get that time throughout the season just to, take a breath, step back, and see, okay, what have we done well, and where are the areas we can improve on? And so looking at it, the first 6 weeks we did a lot of things really well, played some good ball, but there's such a ton of room for improvement that excites me going into the bye week. I know how much better we can be as a team, and so I'm encouraged looking forward.
You're in the top half of the league against the run now, and you're trending in the right direction last couple of games. What goes into being good against the run, Coach?
Yeah, it starts with the physical mindset of our edge players. So it starts with Will and with Grenard on the edge. Like, are they setting the edge violently? Now that funnels that ball inside and allows everyone inside to go and make plays. So that mindset, edge setting, and guys playing discipline when it comes in the middle. Like, are you in the proper gap fit, exactly where you're supposed to be? Or are you olaying and playing behind blocks, and that's when you create vertical seams in a defense, and that's when you get big runs hit on you. So for us, it's everybody being sound. It's a physical mindset. Are we knocking the opponent back, right, to create some negative plays in the run game?
Coach, when I think of the bye week, I unfortunately think of, 2008, where you guys had to play 15 straight games. You're now going to have to play 11 straight games. And so be it. If you get hot, you get hot. You just feel like you go right from the next one to the next. But when you play that many games in a row, is there something more important than any other? Because you'll be going through the holiday season, all that, and it's just week after week after week with a game. No more bye week to break it up. What was it like as a player to kind of play 15 weeks straight? And does that help you and kind of prepare for 11 weeks straight of ball?
Yeah, it's definitely a grind, and more so grind. Physically we know that grind on your body, but mentally you can get caught up in the monotony of the week and just going through the same things over and over again. So I think as coaches, we have to switch it up with our practice schedule and what we're doing. Just have to switch it up and, make it, right, kind of, make it different for the guys when you can, right, create some fun opportunities there for the guys as well. But as much as we can break it up, much as we can handle, we try to do that.
All right, now what about the rust versus rest aspect of things coming out of the bye? You mentioned having the Monday to get reacclimated and all that, but when you hit the field on Sunday, coming off a bye, what do you notice as a coach? And they're coming off a bye as well, so I guess it cancels each other out. I mean, how does that work?
Right, I think you notice coming off a bye, like the slow starts.
Okay.
And it's a given. You have slow starts, both offenses, defense. They start kind of slow. So for me, is you attack it. Hopefully we knock the rust off today.
Yeah.
And we want to attack it and make sure that's at the forefront of our mind. Like, hey, we have to start this game fast. Right? We have to start fast. And we have to finish as well. Always you have to finish, but you can't allow, just because we're coming off a bye, we can't go out, as I call it, you can't go out there sleepwalking. Like,
Right.
You got to come out ready to go from the start.
Coach, big thing for you has been, and you can see it on the sidelines when there's a big play made, is energy. And you see it up and down. You see it from the coaching staff. You see it from the players, the staff. You see it from everybody. That energy is contagious. It seems like it feeds your team. From your perspective, how important has that been to the success of the team thus far? Kind of the energy that people have brought to it, the positivity that you have seen amongst the players, the vets, the rookies, et cetera.
Yeah, I love to see the energy from our guys. I love to see the enthusiasm, and that's sparked by great plays being made.
Right.
So if we continue to make great plays, that comes from us. We're executing. When we execute, we're going to have great energy, great enthusiasm on the sideline. And I want our guys fired up for each other. Right? Sometimes you're in away stadiums, or even we always create our own energy. We don't wait on anyone else to create that energy for us. We create it, we spark the energy, and we keep it going by continuing to execute on the field.
I guess that answers the question I'm about to ask, but I'd like you to expand on it, because I'm watching the league this weekend, Coach, and you're seeing one-win teams come out with great final drives, seal off a victory. You see all sorts of stuff. What does it take to be at your best at noon on a Sunday? Because that's when you really have to bring it. And I guess you talked about it a bit with the energy and with keeping things really fresh in practice, however you go about it.
Right. Oh, Mark, I think it's about how you show up to the stadium on game day. Right? I truly believe, what's your mindset when you're getting out of your car, away game, you're stepping off of that bus? Like, when you step into the stadium, are you locked in and are you ready to go? And most guys, you play it, you have that feeling like, man, I'm ready to go, I'm locked in. And it starts in that pregame warm-up, right? I can feel the vibe, I can feel the energy of our team. When it's upbeat and guys are into it, I know it's like, okay, we're going to have a good day.
Yeah.
And so it starts there in the mindset, and guys just coming out, and, man, can we get a great play to start the game, whether it's on kickoff, Neville coming down, making a big hit, or a nice return, something to just keep that energy going from the start. That's important.
Coach, if you sense that maybe it's not there for whatever reason, tough bus trip, woke up and the eggs were a little cold, whatever the case might be. If you sense that you're not where you want it to be, do you try and amp it up with maybe some of the things that you'll do, maybe a play call, or encourage Bobby to, hey, we need a little bit of energy. Maybe this might be something. Do you kind of try and, I don't want to say force the energy, but try and give them a little bit of a kickstart with something that you might call or do as a coaching staff?
For sure. You try to kickstart it, whether it's that pregame speech, you're trying to kickstart it, whether it's, getting guys playing more aggressive with a play call, but you try to do, for me, I try my best to get guys going if it's not there. It wasn't like, I felt like our last home game, like the first 5 plays defense, we went out and it wasn't quite there, so kind of lost my mind on the sideline a little bit to get it going. But whatever it takes for me, if I need to spark the energy, I'll do that. So.
All right, so, Coach, every Monday I look at the stats around the league and see where the Texans are. You're 11th in offense, and I looked at Nico #1 in yards per catch and CJ 4th in yards per game passing and all that. What numbers do you like to look at, whether they be individual or team? I know the final score is the most important, but we were talking about rush defense. I got to think that's got to be a huge one for you. What do you like to look at?
Yeah, I really like to look at, I think it's points on defense, right? Where you are in scoring defense, like how much are we giving up and are we improving that number? Rushing, offense and defense, I think it's really indicative of who you are as a team. Like, are you running it well on offense, and are you stopping the run on defense? And then the other 2 numbers I think are really telling is third down percentage and red zone percentage.
Okay.
How do you feel those have come along? Because I know early in the year we talked about that a lot. Third downs, red zone, third down, red zone. How do you feel like that's come along? Because it feels like to us it's getting better.
Right.
Is it where you want it to be? It always can get better, obviously, but it seems to have improved. How have you looked at those two in particular? Because those are the two big ones we often talk about.
Yeah, that's the biggest ones that I've seen, the biggest improvement and growth in our team, especially defensively when it comes to the red zone.
Yeah.
Like we gave up, I think, maybe seven touchdowns in the first 2 games just in the red zone alone, and coming back versus, Saints, Jaguars did a really good job of stopping teams in the red zone, and that's where you give yourself an opportunity to win games. In the Atlanta game, we weren't good in the red zone. So we've had some ups and downs, and it was pretty cool. Today we actually went through that with our guys to show them, like, man, if we can, no matter what else happens on the field, third down, run defense, when we get inside the 20, like, can we stand up and force them to kick field goals?
We talked about this a bit in the offseason, but now that you've played 6 games, what can you tell us about how you determine who plays when with your position coaches and coordinators during the course of a game? I need so-and-so in there because of this or that or the other thing in whatever position group. How do you communicate those sort of things together?
Yeah, we try to go through that plan throughout the week. So I know offensively we'll have, we may have 11 personnel. We may want different tight ends or different backs because we'll design certain plays for certain guys when they're in. Defensively, when it comes to particularly third down defense, whether you're in nickel or dime defense, it's like, who do you want out there, more cover guys, or who's your best blitzer? You want to get guys, just all about just strategically putting guys in the best position, all right? But you have to practice that throughout the week so when guys go in, they're comfortable in the role that we're asking them to do on Sundays.
Now, I'm sure you had a lot of things to do on Saturday, especially in a bye week. There are a lot of other things you're probably doing other than watching College Game Day. But did you see your young rookie quarterback on College Game Day, and what was your media critique?
I did not see him.
He did a good job.
He did a good job.
He did a good job.
Of
course, he does a great
You
job.
definitely would have been proud of him. So let's stick with CJ for a second, Coach. He's gone through 6 games. I don't know what anybody's expectations were for having a rookie quarterback, rookie play call, rookie head coach, all that kind of stuff into it. What have been your thoughts about CJ in his growth as you went back and looked and self-scouted? What did you find in him? And as you watch, do you think about what you would do defensively against him if you had to play him?
Well, really,
hopefully that doesn't happen, but
hope not. But very encouraged, man, with a young quarterback and what we've asked him to do. Like, we've asked him to handle a lot, and as you go into it, your expectations, you're not expecting a rookie to have to throw it as much as we've thrown it, but to be confident, for him to give us that confidence in him where he's protects the football, he makes great decisions with the ball. Man, we've asked a lot more of him because he's shown us he can handle a lot. And so he's done a really good job what we've asked him to do. Yeah. And he's shown us that he can do even more than we expected he can do. So encouraged with that and just know he can continue to get better and we can play better around him as well. So, man, really pleased with him, man. Going against him, I tried to scheme up against him today a little bit to give him a couple problems, but he still finds a way to even make a play on me.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, as he gets a lot of attention and makes appearances, things like that, he seems to have the right demeanor for that, Coach. Yeah. What about that side of him as he can handle this attention, it appears?
All right, that's the cool thing about him, just talking to him throughout the draft process. It was just nothing was too big for him. He always kept a cool demeanor. He always felt like he had the right mindset of how he attacked everything, right? A humble approach to how he is. He isn't one of those guys who got the big head just because he, played at Ohio State or he's in the national championship. Like, he still was a very humble guy for the quarterback position. A lot of guys aren't that way, right? Think they know it all, but him, just the way he approaches it, man, couldn't be pleased. I know he was raised the right way. It starts with his family, raising them the proper way, and that's who he shows you every time he has to speak in front of anyone.
What was it like for you when you were a rookie and people started to notice you because you were Defensive Rookie of the Year and you started to get some attention? I know it's not quite the same kind of thing, but what was it like for you?
Yeah, it was easy for me. Nobody expected nobody's expecting anything from me. Just a little second-round pick who just popped up out of nowhere and started making a few tackles, but didn't have, as much media and all the things that CJ has to do on his plate. I think he's done a great job of handling that and representing himself, his family, and representing the organization very well.
Coach, kind of going to my question earlier about the bye week. You got a team that's got a number of rookies that make a significant impact for your team. When you were a rookie, Did you hit a rookie wall, and does that worry you about the guys over the next few weeks? Rookies that, hey, their college season will be ending around Thanksgiving, and that's halfway through the year at that point. Do you kind of worry about that at all?
I don't worry about it. I'm pretty sure I hit a wall somewhere, but I didn't have time to even think about it. You have to keep going, keep playing. And, our guys, I think you mentioned it to them just so they are aware of what can happen to them, because this will be the most football they've ever played. So you make sure they're aware of it and make sure they know how to attack it. Just continue to take care of your body, keep pressing 1 week at a time.
All right, Carolina, we talked about Bryce Young. Obviously, that's going to be a big focus this week. But what about them as a team, Coach? And last time they went out there, they were up 14-0 on Miami. And I know Miami came back, but you don't want to be down 14-0. So what do they bring to the table?
Yeah, I think defensively, Brian Burns, he's going to be a problem. And Derek Brown on the interior D-line starts up front with those guys. They do a really good job there mixing up their coverages. They try to force you, right? They're not going to give you up the big play on defense. So we're going to have to, take some short passes and try to convert, get some yak. But I think that's where it starts defensively with those guys. And offense, you see they're getting better. I think they've gotten better as the years went along. We'll see what changes they make with Thomas taking over as a new play caller. We'll see what he brings, if there are different passing concept or run plays that he wants to try. But our guys will be prepared and ready to go for it.
You mentioned it a little bit in your press conference talking about Thomas getting that opportunity. You've been with the Rams, and the assumption maybe is, okay, well, he's going to take some of the stuff from the Rams. You faced the Rams before. How do you, as you prepare for them, D'Amico, how much do you use the background of him knowing that he's, not called plays before, or he hasn't called plays with this group? How do you kind of handle that preparation-wise? You just look at Carolina, you kind of look back at what he's done or what the Rams did. How do you kind of go about the prep?
Yeah, we look at Carolina, right, and see what they're doing, because they can't change too much of what they're doing and what their structure is offensively. But I also, because of the bye week and having extra time, I do go back and study the Rams and see, what concepts that they ran that hurt our defense in the past, and see where can he pick from easily that fits within the same scheme that they're doing now.
Right.
All right, Coach, the Amegy Bank Ask Coach question of the week. Carolina, they've had some good players there. Luke Kuechly being one of them, at least. So he's a great linebacker. When you played, who are some of the linebackers around the league that you really respected their game and noticed? I know you're going to leave guys out, but one or two or three that pop out to you right now.
I mean, speaking of Luke Kuechly, the guy who played next to him, Thomas Davis, was a guy who's always, 15-year career.
Walter Payton Man of the Year also.
Man, awesome player, man. Patrick Willis, another great player that I respected. Who else? Of course, Ray Lewis. The Hall of Famer, Ray Lewis, guy I always looked up to. He's played the game the right way, physical, great energy, firing his team up. So I always love watching those three guys.
When you would meet up with guys, Coach, whether it's Pro Bowls or just times off season, when you were playing, how much did you guys, when you were around Ray, did you guys talk ball? Did you talk about things you saw on the field, or would you only do that with guys that you knew were that way? Because I would imagine there's some players that are like, I don't like talk about the game, but some like Ray, it feels like Ray will want to talk about the game at all times. You kind of pique his interest and talk to him and get his knowledge as you were kind of playing through.
Yeah, we kind of did a little bit of both. Being with Ray and a couple Pro Bowls, he kind of schooled me up on this one. I'll never forget. His screen pass was thrown outside, and I tried to go back door and go underneath a block. He said, "Hey, young fella, you can't do that. You can't do that." And now I find myself, I'm still giving my guys the same coaching point. Hey, make sure you stay over the top. You're not going to make that play going back door. And then awesome. We also had a lot of fun too. Ray's a fun guy to be around. Great personality. Hanging with him and Ed Reed, two fun guys.
Yep.
Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck this week.
Thank you, guys.
Texans!